Hey guys, it's Brian. Before you go ahead and do anything else, make sure you leave a like and subscribe and turn on those notifications if you want to see more content like this in the future. Anyways, on to the video. Hey guys, it's Brian. Welcome back to another YouTube video. And so yesterday, if you guys have seen my last video, I uploaded an Invoke Shaddoll deck profile onto the channel. This post goes from the past, so if you want to go ahead and see what it's like if you're on a budget and you are unable to afford the Dogmatika package, I really recommend checking out that video. I'll leave a link to it in the eye above. However, now we're going into the Invoked Dogmatika Shaddoll deck, and post goes from the past. It's very similar to the Invoked Shaddoll deck, but since you are running another engine simultaneously to the Invoked and the Shaddoll, obviously, you would have to cut some of the stuff, so I decided to go ahead and keep the same ratios as far as my Shaddoll package and my invocation package, so you can go ahead and see that I have 3 Alistair to go ahead and be the main normal summon of the deck. And of course the 6 hand traps, 3 Lancia, 3 Ash, probably the most impactful hand traps of the format. 1 Ecclesia, 1 Fleur-de-Lis. I feel like Fleur-de-Lis is a card that is really underestimated right now and is much more useful than what people give it credit for. When I used to run the Dragoon package, I've consistently used this to go ahead and make Dragoon with this card. It's also a 2500 free beater if you happen to have an extract monster on board, if your opponent has an extract monster on board. So it's just something to keep in mind. And for the Shaddoll lineup, as same as the last one, 1 Aerial, 2 Genius. I might cut this down to 1 depending on how much the situation comes up, but as of right now, I would run 2 Genius because of the fact that it is a very impactful effect where your opponent cannot activate effects of the card that you select for the rest of the turn. So if you, for example, use it on a hot red while you have a Meltdown up and you used the Genius to make Apcolon, you pretty much are negating 2 of the monsters that are on board. Or even better, you can go ahead and use it on the Hieratic Seal, which would be a 0 attack monster that cannot be tributed because of its own effect, because it can't activate the effect. So it cuts off a resource from the deck. Of course, we have 2 Wendy, probably one of the best Shaddoll cards in the deck, if not the best Shaddoll card in the deck. 1 Beast, I only really need 1. 1 Dragon. Its utility is very useful, going second. 1 Hedgehog. 2 Squamata. Might reduce it back to 1. It does come up, the second one does come up because it adds an extra Shaddoll name, but because we did add Genius into the deck, maybe it can balance that out. So that way it gives me another hand trap I can play, or another card like Triple Tactics. So just something to keep in mind. 1 Call by the Grave because it protects combo, or protects yourself from Ash, or in the case of any of your important searches. In the case of Alistair, Meltdown, or Shaddoll Fusion. Foolish Burial, the most versatile card in the deck. Send the Alistair or send any of the Shaddoll monsters to go ahead and get any effects off the Shaddoll monsters, or having a live target for invocation in hand if you hard drew it. 3 Meltdown, of course, because you're running 3 Alistair, and this is probably the best card in the deck as far as allowing yourself to make sure your fusions go through. Next, Triple Nadir Servant, probably the second best spell card in my opinion, because it helps enable your plays. Shaddoll Fusion, best go second card apart from Super Poly. 1 Punishment, 1 Rush, 1 Schism. I really have a love-hate relationship with Punishment, because Punishment doesn't allow me a special summon from this deck, but it's such good removal that I have to play, especially since it's searchable. Next we have 1 Apcolon. Reduce it down to 1 because you're playing the Entis, and you do need to target it for popping with the Nadir and with the with the punishment, so I highly value the Intis over the Apgalone because usually you can just use one Apgalone and be fine throughout the game. 2 Construct, 1 Shikinaga. Only reason why it's in here is because that Genius is the Earth and it allows us another negate within the deck. Unfortunately, it's only with special summon monsters. However, its effect is not a cost, and so it will trigger any Shaddoll monster that's in your hand. And if they happen to negate the Shikinaga, you don't have to pitch the cost. I'm sorry, pitch for resolution. Next, we have the 2 Winda standard. The Ints, as I previously mentioned before, great removal from the extra deck. Next, we have the 1 Agoides, the 1 Mechaba, the 1 Purgatrio, and the 1 Raijin for the Invoke package. And the reason why I'm only bringing these 4 is because mainly space. I want to go ahead and keep my Shaddolls as alive as possible, but at the same time, I'm just going to go ahead and use the Invoke monsters to go ahead and either push for game or to set up something to stun my opponent. In the case of Raijin and Mechabus for stun, and Purgatrio and Agoides are obviously for trying to go push for game. However, Agoides is very versatile in the fact that you can go ahead and help control the board, especially with a Winda there. That way you can just go ahead and if they try to special summon any monster to their side of the field, you can just pop it right away. Next, the 1 copy of Starving Venom Fusion Dragon. This is only in here because there's a lot of dark monsters in the meta right now, and just getting rid of 2 monsters from your opponent's board is pretty good. Next, we have the 1 Artemis. Self-explanatory. 1 Gravity Controller. May switch it back to the Alistair link, but I'm still debating on it at this point. And the 1 Verte Anaconda. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the profile. Leave a like and subscribe, it really does help the channel a lot. And I hope to see you guys in the next video. See ya!